The roar came first, a deep, unrelenting thunder that echoed across the valley, louder than any storm. It was not the patter of rain, but the terrifying sound of a river breaking its chains, surging with unstoppable force. On the banks of the Sutlej, water exploded over defenses, a wall of brown liquid devouring everything in its path. Fields, homes, and memories swept away in seconds. Families had only minutes to grab their children and run, clutching what little they could carry, their lives erased in moments by the rising tide. This was not just a flood, it was nature's invasion, relentless, unforgiving, and indifferent to human suffering, a force that could not be reasoned with or stopped. We are in Pakistan's Punjab province, witnessing a catastrophe of historic proportions where entire communities are submerged, and the landscape has been transformed overnight. Villages have become vast, muddy lakes with only rooftops and the tops of trees poking above the swirling, murky water, a haunting reminder of what once stood here. People are stranded on islands of debris, waving desperately for help that is stretched thin, as rescue teams struggle to reach everyone in need. The initial chaos swept away homes, livestock, and hope, leaving survivors as refugees in their own land, forced to confront an uncertain future. We see a father clutching his daughter above the water, farmers mourning the loss of their fields and livelihoods. This is the front line of the climate crisis, where every face tells a story of loss and courage. Their world is upside down, and the long, uncertain journey to recovery has just begun, with each day bringing new challenges and heartbreak. This is a story of terror, resilience, and the immense human cost of a changing world, a reminder that in the face of disaster, the strength of the human spirit endures. This devastation is the result of a perfect storm, record monsoon rains and cross-border water politics. Weeks of relentless rain saturated the land, swelling rivers to the brink. The tipping point. India released massive amounts of water from overflowing dams into the Sutlej, sending a flood pulse into Pakistan. The river system was overwhelmed, turning a serious flood into the worst in nearly 4 decades. Earthen embankments failed, and the fertile plains of Punjab became a vast, desolate sea. For those on the ground, technical explanations mean little. The river that once sustained them has become their enemy. The water rose faster than anyone imagined, leaving no time to prepare. In an era of climate change and shared rivers, disasters cross borders, and the most vulnerable pay the price. The waters do not recognize boundaries, and neither does the suffering. Punjab, once known as the breadbasket of Pakistan, is now almost entirely submerged beneath relentless floodwaters. The land that once fed millions now lies hidden under a vast, muddy expanse, its fields and villages swallowed by the deluge. Entire towns and cities have disappeared beneath the water. Streets that once bustled with life have become canals, and homes and markets are lost to the flood. The familiar sounds of daily life have been replaced by the eerie silence of devastation. From above, the scale of the disaster is staggering. Hundreds of square miles are hidden beneath a brown, swirling sheet, stretching as far as the eye can see. The landscape is unrecognizable, transformed overnight by the relentless force of nature. Infrastructure has been decimated. Roads, bridges, and power lines have collapsed, leaving entire communities cut off from the outside world. Rescue efforts are crippled, and the isolation only deepens the sense of despair. The agricultural loss is catastrophic. Cotton and rice fields, the very lifeblood of the region and the backbone of countless livelihoods, are gone. Months of hard work have been washed away in a matter of days, threatening food security for the entire province. Over 1 million people have been forced from their homes, now living in makeshift camps or crowded with relatives. Their futures are uncertain, their lives upended overnight, and hope is in short supply. The social fabric of Punjab is torn apart. Families who lived side by side for generations are now scattered, separated by floodwaters and dependent on aid for survival. The sense of community has been replaced by a struggle to endure. Schools, clinics, and places of worship have not been spared. With buildings damaged or underwater, daily life has come to a standstill. Children are out of school, and access to healthcare and spiritual solace is limited. In towns like Kasur, water levels remain dangerously high, making any return impossible for now. The threat of further flooding looms, and residents can only wait and hope for relief. The flood has shattered not just physical structures but also the sense of security and normalcy that people once took for granted. The emotional toll is immense as families face the daunting task of rebuilding their lives from scratch. Rebuilding will require more than just money. It will take time, unwavering support, and the resilience of a people determined to restore what has been lost. The road to recovery will be long and difficult. The road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, but the spirit of Punjab endures, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Among the displaced is Muhammad Hussain, a farmer whose story mirrors thousands. Just a week ago, he had a small farm, a modest home, and 10 buffalo, his family's lifeline. The flood came at night. Hussain led his wife and 4 children through rising water, leaving everything behind. He tried to save his buffalo, but the current was too strong. 8 were swept away. They were like family, he says, tears in his eyes. 15 years of work, gone. How will I feed my children? Now they shelter under a plastic sheet, exposed to the elements with no food or clean water. Their children are getting sick, no aid has reached them. We feel abandoned, Hussain says, a sentiment echoed by many. His loss is devastating, his future uncertain. Across Punjab, families like his face a desperate struggle for survival. Their resilience is being tested to the limit. They need help, and they need it now. The human toll is staggering. Across Punjab, rescue teams race against time, navigating treacherous waters to reach the stranded. Military helicopters scan for life. Boats weave through debris, rescuing families from rooftops and isolated patches. Every rescue is perilous. Strong currents, submerged hazards, and the vastness of the flood make each mission a challenge. Locating survivors is difficult. Many are found only by desperate waving or word of mouth. Livestock rescue is equally urgent. Animals are livelihoods, and many refuse to leave without them. Boats tow makeshift platforms with cattle, but for every animal saved, many are lost. Resources are stretched thin. Too few boats, too little time, too many in need. Remote communities remain cut off, their supplies dwindling, risk of disease rising. The rescue effort is heroic, but the need is overwhelming. For many, help may not arrive in time. For those rescued, the ordeal continues in overcrowded, undersupplied camps. Thousands huddle on roadsides or in schools, with little more than the clothes on their backs. Food, clean water, and medicine are scarce. Parents go hungry so children can eat. Sanitation is poor, raising fears of cholera and other diseases. Long lines form for water and food. Frustration and anger grow as government aid is slow or absent. Survivors feel forgotten, abandoned by those meant to protect them. Local groups step in, but their efforts can't match the scale of need. Destroyed roads and bridges make delivering aid a logistical nightmare. For suffering families, explanations offer little comfort. They need help now. The disaster has exposed deep flaws in the country's emergency response. The wait for aid is a test of endurance and hope. Amid the flood, a painful irony, Pakistan, plagued by water scarcity, is now drowning in wasted fresh water. Experts say better water management could have turned this disaster into a resource. Decades of delay and politics have left the country with inadequate dams and storage. Modern infrastructure could have captured floodwater for irrigation, power, and drought relief. The call for new dams is urgent. Projects like Kalabag and Diamer Basha are now matters of survival. But dams alone aren't enough. Watershed management, reforestation, and early warning systems are vital. Regional cooperation is essential. Water released from Indian dams was a major factor. Only a robust, collaborative approach can prevent future disasters. This crisis must be a wake-up call for water resilience. The scale of this disaster bears the fingerprints of climate change. Scientists warned that global warming would bring more extreme monsoons. This is the new normal. Pakistan, though a minor emitter, is on the front lines of the climate crisis. The world has a moral duty to help, through aid, technology, and real emissions cuts. Pakistan must prioritize adaptation, build resilient infrastructure, reform agriculture, and strengthen disaster agencies. Communities need education, early warnings, and local response plans. Preparedness is key. Unity and resolve are essential. The international community must step up, and Pakistan's leaders must act decisively. The courage and compassion shown by ordinary people must inspire lasting change. The floodwaters will recede, but the scars will remain. Let this tragedy be the catalyst for action, investment, and cooperation. Never again should a disaster of this scale catch us unprepared.